Hello everybody, KabooseDOTexe here, and today we're going to talk about some Killing Floor 2 news. I apologize for my absence. I know I haven't been doing a lot of videos, and it's mainly because work has kept me really busy. I'm not going to stop making videos, but I have to kind of work around that unpredictable work schedule I have. I mean, I had like 5 days notice before I was told that I had to be gone out of town for about 3 weeks. Maybe we'll talk more about that at the end of this video, but for now, let's get into the Killing Floor stuff that you came here to see. But before we get into the news, I just want to let you all know for the next 2 weeks, there is a fantastic Killing Floor Humble Bundle going on right now. Skip to the timestamp on screen to get straight to the news, but I highly recommend staying tuned just to see what's in this bundle. I'm sure you're going to really like it, especially if you just picked up the game. And I figured it's best that we go over that real quick. It shouldn't take too much time. If you've never used Humble Bundle before, it's a service that allows you to donate to certain charities and get rewards in the form of video games. They also have books and comics and software as well. That's actually where I got my editing software from. A link to the bundle I'm talking about is in the description, so go ahead and check it out. The money made for this Humble Bundle will be going to a non-profit organization that's meant to bring clean, safe drinking water to people in developing countries. They'll be using 100% of the public donations to directly fund sustainable water solutions in areas that need it the most. So let's quickly go over what those rewards are for your donations. If you pay $1, you get a copy of Killing Floor 1 as well as 5 of the DLC characters. This may not sound like much because it's Killing Floor 1, but it's actually a really good deal, and I still like Killing Floor 1. I still sometimes go back to it. Now, if you pay more than the average, you get a copy of Killing Floor 2, some cosmetics for Killing Floor 2, the DLC weapons for Killing Floor 1, as well as the DLC character pack that gives you Mr. Foster for Killing Floor 1. But more importantly, for Killing Floor 2, you get the DLC for the compound bow. And lastly, if you pay at least $15 or more, you get a copy of Killing Floor Incursion, which is their VR standalone. You also get a bunch of cosmetics for both Killing Floor 1 and Killing Floor 2. Your Killing Floor 2 copy then becomes the Digital Deluxe Edition. You get both of the current headshot effects packs. You also get Mrs. Foster and Badass Santa. But most importantly, you get the first 2 DLC weapon bundles for Killing Floor 2. Both the Grim Treatments and Yuletide Horrors, which means you'll get the Rhino, the Ion Thruster, Mosin Nagant, and the G18C and Riot Shield combo. You get the first 5 DLC weapons for Killing Floor 2 for $15. That's the standard price of buying just one of the bundles in the game. If you already have the bundles or any of these items, you could probably just give them to your friends once you buy the bundle. I'm getting this bundle and I'm probably going to do some kind of giveaway at some point in the future, so stay tuned for that. Alright, enough about this sweet deal, and let's actually get to that news. I just felt like I really need to talk about this first, just because I think it's so good. And I didn't want anybody to miss out on the chance. Alright, so let's get down to the actual news here, and the first one is going to be the Merc Report All Aboard. In this Merc Report, we get insight into our new map, Hellmark Station. Supposedly, story-wise, surveillance drones around London have picked up on a demonic invasion in a railway station formerly known as King's Cross. From the look of these 2 images, it looks like it's going to be a demonized version of a train station. It looks really cool, and it reminds me a lot of the first level in Doom Eternal. Unlike Yuletide Horrors, this looks like something that's going to be very appropriate to the season. I think a hellish looking map for October is perfect. Something that does interest me is that portal in this image. In one of the paragraphs in this post, it says, "And whatever world these portals lead you to, we want nothing to do with." What perplexes me the most is the weird sentence that comes after this one. The sentence is, "But perhaps you can make use of some of the strangeness you will find yourself around for extra power." That seems like a typo. I don't know what that means. I want to know what that means. I'm assuming it means that portal will take you to a hellish dimension and there'll be traps on this map that you can use to your advantage. Alright, enough with dealing with the troubles of the English language. Let's move on to the previous post, Merc interfacing improvements. This was the first bit of news we got for this new update, and it will primarily focus on balances and UI improvements. The first thing that's going to happen is that Medic is going to get a bit of an improvement to its Zedative skill. It's a level 25 skill. What it normally does is whenever you kill a Zed in Zed time, it releases a cloud that heals players and poisons Zeds. In the new update, they're going to make it so that way you have an increased 30% damage output during Zed time. They gave us a clip that I can show you here so that way you can see just how much of a difference it can make. The only problem is it's on the weaker Zeds, so it's not like it's going to make that much of a difference, but I feel like it's going to be something that's going to be really useful. I mean, I'm always going to take extra damage. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this improvement. You think it's a good one or just kind of unnecessary? The next thing that's getting a rework is the boss stomp, or the Goomba stomp. Supposedly it's a high risk, high reward method of dealing massive damage to Zeds. It's basically when you jump on a Zed's head. There's not a lot of opportunities on when to use it, but there are some maps where you can use the stairs to your advantage. What they're going to do is pretty simple. They're not going to remove the ability to jump on the Zed's head and knock him down. However, they're going to make it so there's a cooldown system in place so you're not infinitely knocking them down. I feel like it's a decent improvement to gameplay. It's not something that I'm going to really miss, as I only found out about it because I was walking downstairs and I bumped into a crawler and knocked it over. Like, it's not something that's massive to gameplay far as to my knowledge. I'm sure there are people out there that were abusing the system and that's why they figure they should go fix it. So let me know what you guys think of that. The next quality of life improvement involves reloading with weapons with an underslung, something like the M16 M203. What they're going to do is they're going to make it so that way you reload the primary ammo first by putting in a fresh magazine as opposed to, reloading the underslung. I'm assuming there were some people who were annoyed when they couldn't figure out which one they're going to reload first. Personally, it's never really been a problem for me, but I'm sure there's some people out there who would really like this improvement. Speaking of weapons, the next thing that's going to happen is for people who play on controller, they're going to have it so now when you go just cycle through your weapons by pushing the next weapon button, it's going to skip the 9mm pistol. And instead, if you want to have it, you have to hold down the button and manually select it. I can see this being something really useful later on in a match because by the end of the game, you're not going to ever pull out that pistol unless you really, really need some ammo. So if you're desperately trying to switch between 2 or 3 weapons, it could get in the way. So this is something that's really nice because I do know a lot of people who play on controller, especially if you're playing on consoles. I mean, that's the only way to play the game. The last 2 things we have are improvements to the UI. The first thing is an improvement that shows you what the status of your connection is. It's a back-end connection status indicator, as they call it. You can see it here on the top right of this picture, and I feel like it's something that can be fairly useful. I mean, some people just don't know ping, so I guess this works pretty well. It's not a big change, but it's something that's kind of nice. A nice quality of life addition. And lastly, the store's UI is going to be adjusted to better help new players find what they're looking for. Since the addition of the store, it has gotten very big, and there's a lot of new things that weren't originally in there. Stuff like headshot effects. So they're adding a few new areas that you can go to find specifically what you're looking for. And if you get that Humble Bundle I showed you earlier, you're going to get a bunch of those skins right off the bat. So it's going to be a little bit easier to see. I'm assuming they did this because on the Epic Store, they had it where the game was completely free. You pick it up and you have it permanently. So now they have a nice influx of players. Personally, I don't go into the store that much unless I'm just buying the new weapon DLC or if there's a really nice cosmetic that just got released that I really want. But I don't tend to go in the store for cosmetics. I mostly just want the weapons. The DLC weapons, the paid DLC weapons like the Mosin gun. But I can see how this is really useful. It's not something that's going to be really hard to fix. I mean, it's just menus. I mean, it's not like a major gameplay feature. So while I was working on this video, they actually released the latest piece of news about the weapons, about the HRG weapons specifically. I was just going to wrap up and start talking about the DLC weapons that are coming out, but we now know what the HRG ones, so let's do those ones first. This time around, we got 2 weapons. The first one is the Scorcher. It takes the starting weapon grenade pistol for demolition and converts it into a Firebug weapon. I can see this being a nice weapon for Firebug since some of the Firebug weapons can be pretty big, you're going to need something really small as a sidearm. I think this will help fill that gap. Now our second HRG weapon is the Arc Generator, an EMP conversion of the microwave gun. The primary attack on this thing will be short and it will have a lightning bolt that will bounce between targets supposedly. Sounds kind of like the Wonder Waffle from Nazi Zombies, so I'm pretty excited to see that. It's also going to have some kind of alternate charge blast. I'm assuming it's something that you're going to charge up and shoot like a ball of electricity that you can just fire down hallways and kill a bunch of Zeds. I'm really excited to see that one. That's going to look really cool. I'm not that big of a fan of EMP weaponry since there's no perk that goes alongside it. I mean, I would love to see one that uses it. The Palpatine perk focuses primarily on electricity and EMPs and lightning and all that good jazz and stuff. Okay, so let's go back to what was going to originally be the wrapping up point of this video, and that's going to be the paid DLC weapons. Now, I know they haven't been announced yet, but about a month ago, they were leaked online, along with all the other cosmetics that we're going to get, and we'll probably go through this list. I'll leave it in the description below, but we're going to go through this list hopefully sometime this week, so subscribe to see that when it comes out. But the first paid DLC weapon is going to be the Mine Reconstructor. It's going to be a gun that supposedly shoots out mines and has an alt fire that detonates all the mines that are in place, releasing some of that healing cloud that will heal players and poison Zeds. Now, I could be wrong about this because we're just kind of going off of what's said in this leak. It could be just a weapon for demolition, but if this is true, that would mean that this could be a medic weapon. Or both. I mean, I'm hoping it's both. I would like it to be both. Makes it so that way you get more out of the money you spend on a weapon, which is what I really like about the blunderbuss. Now, as for the second paid DLC weapon, which will probably be the last weapon we're gonna get for this update, it's a minigun for Commando. Finally, Commando gets a weapon, a paid DLC weapon. And on top of that, it is the long-awaited minigun. This thing's probably going to be a tier 5, really expensive weapon that you're probably mostly going to use for the boss wave, or unless you're doing endless. That's my prediction for this weapon. Let me know in the comments what you think of all this news and what your prediction is for these upcoming DLC weaponry as well as the HRG weapons. And that's going to be it for now. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you have. If you want to see more Killing Floor content in the future, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified for when those come out. Definitely let me know in the comments which one of these two weapons you would like to see in a review first. If you haven't checked out my weapon reviews, go check it out. They're pretty good. I put a lot of time and effort into them. They're some of my favorite videos that I've made. In other channel news, I'm working currently on a Turok video as well as trying to get some kind of filler content out for you guys. Work has had me away out of town for about a month, and it's just been difficult to keep up with things. Until next time, though, I hope you guys stay safe out there. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I love you.